Welcome back to another podcast. We just got done filming with the sensational Adam Osborn, Mr. Carlisle himself. We went through, talked about everything from mindset to faith to investing, like short-term, long-term a little bit as well, kind of like team building and
renovating Harrisburg.
Changing up the hill.
Yes.
Allison Hill of Harrisburg. So it is a very passionate conversation. I kind of feel like we just had it got pretty deep at certain moments. So I highly encourage all of you to tune in and listen to the very end. It's truly an inspirational story. And just thank you again for joining us. So I will see you guys at the end of that episode. Peace. So thank you for being on today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's an honor to have you.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Of course. So we're going to kind of dive into, a lot of the shit that you've been up to. Something working on the project for the Hill. That's something that's a little bit closer to me because I work, hand in hand with the Hill as well. So
that's awesome, man.
But mindset, leading teams, we're going to get into all of that. So
let's go. Yeah, bro. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. So where does your journey begin? How did you end up here?
How'd you get into real estate?
Yeah, real estate was definitely an accident. I think a lot of people probably share that same sentiment, right? It's not like, I didn't go to bed at night when I was a kid.
I want to be a realtor.
I'm going to be a realtor. I'm going to be a real estate investor. But I think it goes back to when I went to college, I wanted to be a doctor / chef. Actually, that was like my middle school dream. So I went to UPitt for medicine. When I graduated, I worked at a hospital for 2 years in Carlisle, and I realized this sucks. I hated everything about it. Like going to work in the dark, coming home in the dark.
Yeah.
It's just depressing.
It was horrible. So I got into personal training, and I moved out to Denver where I met my wife.
Aww.
And then fast forward, we moved back to Carlisle and trying to make it work with my own personal training business. But we were broke, and we had a baby on the way, and we're like a bad country song.
Had to make a change.
You got it. So I was like, all right, what am I going to do? And 2 doors opened at the same time, one in fitness and one in real estate with the Neidlinger team. And I was like, I don't know anything about real estate, but I see a big horizon here. I could see, man, real estate investing sounds sick. So let's get in that world and learn about it.
Sure.
So I let go of my dream of personal training stuff, and I moved into real estate, and that's 9 years in the rearview mirror, which is crazy. Yeah.
So what was your kind of role when you joined his team?
Yeah. So they sort of made up a role. I applied for the listing coordinator, which in hindsight was like the worst job possible for me. But I met with the team leader at the time, and she's like, I don't know where you're going to fit, but
you're going to be
we're going to make it work. So they made a role of inside sales for me. And that's where I started for like 6 months, just grinding the phones, calling hundreds of people a day.
Wow.
And I loved it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. It was
funny.
And it's just like, it just broke down all those barriers of fear of like rejection and crap.
Getting over rejection.
You got it.
A lot of people have that as soon as they encounter it, that's just when they drop everything already and they just quit.
That was literally my job.
First role ISA is crazy.
It was wild.
Entering the real estate industry, starting.
It was rough.
It's funny because when I was going through all their leads, it would always say Adam Osborn with your notes. And I wondered why, but there you go.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Rob Neidlinger took me under his wing at the same time because he's like, this dude can sell, obviously. So I started going on ride-alongs with him for listing appointments. And then I started selling while I was doing ISA stuff. And then it just was an obvious choice, like you need to switch over full time.
Yeah.
And so then I just...
So you were licensed while you were
100%.
in ISA? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got my license while I was training in ISA.
Gotcha.
And then just started...
How did you find the role? Was it just LinkedIn?
There was I think a Craigslist. My wife, Irene, found that. And she's like, hey, check this out. I'm like,
throwback.
That's dumb. But my dad also, at the same time, so coincidental. My dad sent me the exact same job link that same day.
Yeah.
My wife did. So
meant to be.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically how I got into real estate with the Neidlinger team. And so grateful for those guys.
Sure. So, and how long were you there for?
From 2016 to 2022.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Yeah. So I started as an ISA and then worked to be, their lead listing guy. And then there was an opening for the team lead, basically like coaching the team. And like, I wasn't thinking about that at all. But one day I'm just working and I'm like, you know what? These other goofballs that are interviewing, I think I could probably do it better than they could. So I threw my hat in the ring and they hired me.
There you go.
And it was a blast and it was really fun. But like around that time, like I was in that role for 2 years and I just felt the itch to go and build my own thing.
I was about to say, were you investing in properties when you worked with Nyland here?
Got it.
Okay. So was it helpful though to like join his team? I mean, even though your initial intention wasn't really to be like an investor, maybe, was it helpful to have still those people surrounding you so they could kind of just guide you into building your own portfolio?
So actually, one of the main things that drove me into real estate was investing. Like I was listening to these podcasts as I was thinking about real estate. I'm like, oh, yeah. I think this is the thing. So the whole time I was like, I'm going to do this real estate sales thing until I can, be like Brandon Turner and then retire at age 35.
Love Brandon Turner.
Yeah, he's awesome. But but yeah, so Rob, I was just like, dude, tell me everything about investing. So the first house I bought was a 2-unit, and I'll never forget this, man. I'm getting, the first time home buyer jitters, like, I just don't know if I can afford it. He's like, listen, if you can't afford it, I will buy it from you. And like, just freaking gut.
Kind of just like a safety net.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he'd helped me so much, and just
he's good at helping people take action. For sure.
For sure. He will kick you in the balls to do it.
Yep.
Which I love about him. So my first house, I bought a 2-unit. We moved into the bottom floor, rented the top floor. And that was just like, it just blew our financial world out of the water. Like, we went from broke to having a cash flowing asset in no time. And I was hooked.
Was that your first property you bought, or did you own a house prior?
No, that was our
first house was a house hack.
Yes.
That's cool.
Which was rad. So we lived there. We still own that. And now it's just a single family, but it's renting for $1,600 a month. So
awesome.
There you go. Did you convert it back to a single family?
I did. Yeah. Cause we outgrew that. We were going to buy another house, but we were like, let's just kick the tenant out upstairs and convert it back. So we had 3 kids in that tiny little house.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yep. So in that same time frame, we bought 2 other duplexes in that.
Okay.
So we felt like we can probably.
And what area is this all in?
All in Carlisle, like
Mr. Carlisle.
Mr. Carlisle.
You got it.
So as soon as I was watching some of your old YouTube videos today, I saw the paperclip sales one with Nate. Let's go forever ago.
Let's go.
I was so entertained. I was like, okay, so there you have a relationship. That's perfect. But then I asked Maddie to come up with some questions for you because she knows you better than I do, right? So she brought up the Hill project. So I was like, well, this is Mr. Carlisle. What the hell is he doing on my side of the river? So,
that's a great question.
How'd you get over there?
That is a really good question. And it's actually, it's kind of a little annoying. Why? But here it goes. Okay. So I grew up in Carlisle, born and raised, and I was like, everything about Harrisburg was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Definitely has a stigma around it.
Right. Yeah. Crossing the river is a big deal, apparently.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know why it is, but it really is.
West Shore, East Shore, such a divide.
It's ridiculous. Yes. So, but one day I go to Life Center Church with Madison, and I just felt, as I'm crossing the bridge, I just felt this burn in my heart. Like, I just, like, why do I care about this place now? Like, I feel drawn more and more to be involved, and it just kept growing. I'm like, this is so annoying because I didn't want to be involved in Harrisburg, but
it just not how you branded yourself.
Exactly. Not at all. But it keeps coming up and up and up. And just, I keep saying yes, and more things, just doors just open wide, leading to Harrisburg. So I'm like, all right, I'll follow those open doors. And that's basically, so the first thing that happened, like, at church one day, one of the pastors, Chandi, is up front. I don't know if you remember this, Maddie, but he goes, I'm calling all kingdom investors. And I'm like, what does that even mean? But like, something in me was just like,
that's me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I said, yo, I'm the dude. So I went up front, and then I had lunch with him, and I'm like, hey, this is what I want to see Harrisburg be renewed. I started getting visions of this beautiful city, like, being redeemed from what it is to what it could be.
Yeah.
And I believe in it so much. And so,
for those of you that don't know what Harrisburg's like, just in case you're watching from another state, the Allison Hill area of Harrisburg specifically has definitely been a troubled sector or section for a long time. So now there's a new project taking place called Love the Hill. Do you want to dive into a little bit about what it is?
Yeah. So Tannen and Christina Herman are guys that were originally from Oklahoma, and they relocated up here for various reasons, and then sort of by default ended up living in the middle of this neighborhood that they didn't really intend to, but they just fell in love with their neighbors, and their whole thing is, just love your neighbor. And so they and their 3 girls live in this big house in Allison Hill, and the
mansion.
The mansion, 333 South 13th Street, and they've cleaned up millions of pounds of trash in the hill, have boarded up abandoned homes, and they also have a farm.
Which feeds the community. It's so cool.
They sell organic food for super cheap to the community. So
awesome.
They're just doing it. And now I got involved and we're working on this redevelopment project where we're trying to, the organization itself is trying to build some affordable housing, but also inspire other investors to come in and dream like we dream about the Hill. And like, hey, there's huge opportunity here. If you can buy today, like, think about in 10 years what those things are going to be worth.
Huge potential.
Yeah. And not just the financial upside, but just the relational community upside.
So the question that keeps coming to my head then is Allison Hill obviously is a very cheap area, right? Like low price, low income kind of location. So if we get to the point eventually, maybe like say a decade down the road where it's like, okay, this is now a lively neighborhood. It's all been rehabbed. Everything's nice. Rents are obviously going to go up as well for those tenants. What do you think is going to happen to a lot of people that don't make as much money that live in that area?
It's exactly our problem, right? Yeah. And so the typical redevelopment, gentrification is another word that's thrown around.
Yeah,
is you bring the money in, and then the rich white people or rich people come in, and
then where does everyone
displace
else
the other people? Yeah. And so we're trying to reimagine what investing looks like, and some of the things that we're thinking about. And we're just calling everybody that has dreams and vision about this stuff to think about it. I think it has to partner not just physical restoration, but cultural.
Some might be like creating new jobs, like give higher employment,
education, about financial literacy and investment, entrepreneurship.
We had this one podcast guest on a while ago, Jay Davis.
Yeah, I know Jay Davis.
Yeah. He used to run classes like that where he would let people from like a lower income or someone who just isn't financially literate, he would run classes kind of just like teaching finance. I think it was completely free, like just like show up. So I think if we were able to like somehow incorporate some classes like that for people, it could be like a huge game changer.
Exactly. And like creating opportunity because right now it's, I think, 70 or higher % renters in Allison Hill.
Yeah.
And so exactly what you said.
That's like nobody owns over there.
Right. So how can we promote home ownership? And so maybe we start thinking about models like rent to own, like over a 5-year period. And in those 5 years,
like a lease option. Maybe.
Exactly. You take those people through some classes and try to teach. Obviously you can't force people to take ownership.
Yeah.
But they're believing lies about themselves that I'd love to help.
It's kind of break.
Yes, like that spirit of poverty, and
they're stuck in generation after generation of poverty.
And I don't pretend to know everything about these guys, and I'm still learning about who they are, and I'm trying to build a relationship with the community. But my heart breaks to think, because I know what it's like to not have an imagination for a bigger future. Like I've been there, and to think about that as a generational thing.
Yeah,
like to not have an option, but the truth is they do.
Yeah,
I want to see them win.
So what's kind of been your main role once joining the...
Yeah, so right now, I'm on a board with the team. We're basically trying to raise money and just work through road blocks. It's a pretty big project. We're working on like a 9-unit, partly commercial space, partly residential space. But right now I'm stepping into this coalition leader thing where the coalition is basically an alliance of realtors, contractors, investors, and lenders that would be like working towards building in the Hill. And so we're just creating a framework for all that stuff. And how do we share resource? How do we create these education programs? And
I saw there's been a lot of like new construction going on in that area.
Tons.
Like down Regina Street, they have like all those new townhouses that got put up. And then I forget what the other street is. It's down south, down 13th.
Yeah,
the left-hand side, there's like those brand new developments up there too.
Exactly. Yeah. There's people doing stuff, and I really believe that there's a move towards Central PA, like Harrisburg and this area. I think there's so much opportunity.
I agree, and you're starting to see like more and more, at least from my perspective, and probably yours too. But like New York is coming in, like
exactly.
New Jersey, people from these more expensive locations are coming in. They see like the vision for Harrisburg. Is there like, I guess it's kind of like I missed out on my New York City piece, right? But like, okay, or Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, how they're all like now expensive metros.
Yeah.
It's like Harrisburg still has potential to reach that point. I mean, with the amount of people we have here, with the job offers, and really housing is just like the main thing lacking.
With the Susquehanna too, like it's just the perfect location.
Yeah.
And it's gotten rated like #1 best place to retire on so many articles.
I posted that one time.
Crazy, mentioning York, Harrisburg, and Lancaster were all on the list.
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't know why someone would want to come here, but
I'm just
It's true though. Like we think about it, like
when you think retirement, you think beach, right?
totally, bro. But not
Harrisburg, apparently.
apparently, man. The river is. You're right. The river is beautiful.
Would be amazing.
Like City Island is such a fantastic spot to have.
Exactly.
There's so many events, baseball games, soccer games going on down there.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. So that's basically what we're doing right now, is just trying to create this group of people and drive this mission forward.
Okay.
So what have you felt like has been the biggest pushback with this mission?
Well, I think just the numbers, like how do the deals pencil?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because renovations are expensive, and how do you justify the rents or the resale? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, especially when it comes time for like appraisals, you're like, you don't really have any good comparables on this block because nobody's touched this block in like ever. Like, so it's built. So it makes it hard, and I feel like it'd definitely be nerve-wracking to get in there and kind of be the first ones to do it.
That's the deal. I think there's people that are there's two camps. There's the people that are financially worried, and then there's people that are just like, I don't want anything to do with the hill. You know, I think you walk on the street and you're gonna get shot. Which you know,
are you ever running into the obstacle as well? I'm just brainstorming here, but a lot of the landlords in the hill area, like straight up slumlords, I think they are. If it's a box with a toilet, like they'll try to rent it out for top dollar.
Yep.
How are you going to be able to like try to convert them into either being a better landlord and or selling their properties? That's
a really good question.
I think that's going to be an obstacle.
I think you're right, and that's as we're talking with having these conversations with like Shannon and Christina, the leaders of Wild Heart and Love the Hill.
Yeah,
that's their main concern. When one person does a renovation and they raise the rent, then slumlords are like, yo, let's raise our rents to match.
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you not push out?
Displace those people and those families.
They're already struggling, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to that yet, but the goal is to create relationship with everybody in that neighborhood and say what's good for one is good for everybody. Let's work together and not screw our neighbor. Basically,
something I've heard for a little while now, just floating around, and I don't know if this is ever going to happen, but a kind of like a fixed rate rent.
Interesting.
For the area, so whether it's a town, the city. Have you heard of like? I feel like somewhere already incorporated this. It might have been Colorado.
Interesting.
I was watching a Bigger Pockets episode about it.
They have rent ceilings in bigger cities.
Okay.
Or like rent control.
Yeah.
It's like you're not
like city
where you're not allowed to rent a 1-bedroom for more than this price or a 2-bedroom for more than this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big thing in bigger cities. We don't have it here.
Every year you're not allowed to raise it by more than 3% or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could be an option for
it could be. And I mean, just as a free market guy, I love capitalism. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. So I agree.
I don't like that stuff.
No, I don't agree with
that. But I know what you mean is.
For an investor, it's like, okay, but you could have a slumlord who's renting their piece of shit for $1,100.
Ever fully renovated, gorgeous.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But that the market can correct that too, right? Like if you have other options, and you make those options known to the people that live there, then that dude is not going to.
No one's going to rent that one.
No, I completely agree. But the demand for
exactly
housing right now is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, and so that you can rent anything for crazy prices. So yeah, it's a problem, and I don't know the answer.
Yeah. Well, you're on the board, so
I mean,
we'll give it some time.
We're thinking about it. So if you
figure it out,
ideas, man, like please share.
All right.
And when it comes to the city in Harrisburg, how do you feel they've responded to this initiative? Because that's been a whole thing.
There's mixed. So like,
I
think the people, when you actually talk to people, they're excited about it. They're thankful for it. But there's media outlets that I'm not going to name here that have political agendas, and they're just trying to
saying some nasty things.
You got it. Yeah,
it's heartbreaking because you know these people and you know their
initiative. You have a head hard at the end of the day, but trying to convince these other news networks might be a little more difficult.
And that's the sad part is that they're.
I think at one point the farm was even shut down too.
Well that was reversed.
Yeah, I know, but it's
it can be really political and they throw out racial terms like all this stuff. And there's good people trying to do
good
things. And it's like, just quit, you know?
Yeah.
I did see a long time ago when, I forget what house I bought at the time. I think it was 18th Street. The Hill community, they were going around and dropping off like these little garden boxes.
Oh, really?
In front of a lot of the houses. I don't know if you had to like order one.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you know anything about that.
I don't actually. You have to tell me more.
Have you ever seen? No?
I don't think so.
Okay, so a long time ago.
Garden boxes? What do you mean by that? Like flower?
No, flat out just, oh yeah, kind of like flowers.
Flower boxes?
Right, but they're just like these big wooden crates. Where
Okay.
they kind of look like big Lincoln logs that were just put together, like a log cabin. And then they just had soil in there and like a bed of flowers and a sign attached to it that said "Love the Hill." And they were just
right.
Trailer of guys going around and just like
they do that all the time.
Yeah, just beautifying the neighborhood. Sure, yeah.
I think that was really cool when I saw that. I was like, what is this? What's going on here?
Yeah.
There's been some lots that they've cleaned out like 5 to 10 times.
Yeah.
And they're just like, love the hill. And they'll just clean and do it again and rehab it. And
yeah,
that's their big thing. Just show love and then.
I love the positivity behind it because the Hill, I mean, it already is just like a crappy area to begin with. Like it's just, can be a mess sometimes. And I just feel like a lot of like the people growing up there already have that same idea as they're growing up. Or like, oh, this is like the ghetto. There's a piece of shit. Like
just the way it goes, right?
There's like shootings down the street every day and stabbings and robberies, stuff like that. So I feel if you're able to just continuously push the positivity into it, like I'm sure you're able to change a lot of people's perspectives.
That's the hope, man. It's just to show love, and like love can change your heart. It really can. Like and not just like like rom-com love, but like real flower box on your front doorstep, like cleaning up all the crap that
next door,
like the fifth time.
Yeah,
sure. That's love. Is like doing it without any thanks.
I wonder if there's like a larger metro where people have already kind of done this before. Like they start.
Good question.
Right, and then we're able to just kind of take their ideas, or maybe even like somewhere. Yeah, and someone who was already like on that board can come and like share, how they did it.
I am active. So listen, anyone out there, if you know anything like this, please hit me up because I want to know a model. We're looking for a model exactly like that.
Yeah, and it's had to happen before. I mean, like even like Kensington. Do you know Ryan Sanders?
I know the name.
So a big developer. He's the one that just partnered with LaShawn McCoy to do his development on 6th Street.
He was on your podcast, right?
He was on my podcast before.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. But I just was stalking his Instagram recently, and I saw that he did a very similar big project like this down in Kensington, Philadelphia. It's like, everyone always that, in the street. Right. Right. Well, I guess he did some kind of development project right there, just converted some old vacant building into housing for everyone that was on the street. And now it's like very much more cleaned up.
Yeah.
I can't say it's like completely clean because it never will be. Well, maybe one day, but not yet.
That's right.
But I was maybe have him touch base.
That's a great idea.
See if he can give you some kind of.
We're open to all that stuff. We ain't too proud to beg. You know what I'm saying? So
no, completely.
Yeah.
All right. So back into your investment journey a little bit. So you were with Rob up until 2022, and then after that you switched over to do KW.
KW, you got it.
KW. How's your experience there been?
I love it, man. It's just, without saying anything, I don't want to say anything negative about Neidlingers. They were awesome to me. I'm so grateful for them. The culture at KW is just night and day. I think, Maddie, you can probably attest to that same thing.
You've heard the story many times on her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Like, bro, it's good Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid.
It's true. I mean, I was actually just in your guys' office on Monday. I was there hanging out for like an hour and a half, just hanging everybody. Yeah, it was so cool.
The vibes are great.
Yeah, everyone is amazing. Yeah. It's like all just friendly banter, left and right. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's this idea of like the abundance mindset. So instead of everyone's an adversary, like everyone's an enemy, you have to work against. Everyone is there to support you.
Yeah, completely.
Because there's more than enough business for everybody. So I love it, and it's just been so fun and like having good. And the best thing is the more good people that come, the better it gets. Like when Maddie came, everyone leveled up. It's just like it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a cool environment.
See what this new generation can do, right?
Heck yeah, she's killing. I mean, I got to give mad props to Maddie because she's like, she steps in and then she's on the Agent Leadership Council and she's doing like Vine and Velvet, like these sick events. Like she's going places, y'all.
That's why I asked her to be here.
Come on.
Yeah, I see where she's going. So
yeah.
No,
that's really cool.
It's a good place. Adam, again, you're my sponsor. You're the reason I came over.
That's right. I'm really smart because I get a little bit of.
You should get all excited for that. You do. You literally do. The whole holistic approach to wealth, mindset, health. Like, we've had meetings literally just talking about health. Matt Madden sat us down and said he wants to have a nutritionist and like a freaking gym in our next office for next year. So it's like, stuff like that is amazing, and you're not going to find that at any other brokerage.
100%.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if we can release next office yet. So it's not official. But it's okay. Anyway.
You heard it here first, Faith.
I mean, he talked about it in our meeting today with the whole office.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Then.
We're good.
It's public.
It's public.
Yep.
We just don't know where. He won't release that yet.
Oh, I got that information.
Really?
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me later.
Yeah, off air. Let's do that.
All right.
Yeah,
camera.
definitely.
So yeah, you are like a big mindset guy. A little bit before this, we were talking about like, what are the kind of good habits that you do, and how big is mindset when it comes to, being an entrepreneur and trying to be successful.
Yeah.
So if you want to dive into kind of how you just got really involved in learning more about that.
That's interesting. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can relate, but like, I think the best way to describe it is a lot of my life, I felt like I was driving with the e-brake on. Like I wanted to go this way, but something was holding me back. And it took a lot of like internal work.
Sure.
And I'm still I'm still working hard at it every day to fight the good fight. But it was just, I had these big dreams, and I hated being afraid to pursue them. And I hated being limited by that stuff. So I just dug in. I'm like, what do people do? How do I do this?
Yeah.
And what was like kind of a big switching point for you?
What was the aha?
What's something that clicked? Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, whatever. It just Jesus, like getting to know that guy who's a real man. That was the thing. And I was professing Christian for a while until I really met the guy that I now love. That relationship and knowing your true identity. I think so much fear comes from the place of not knowing who you are and not knowing who God is really.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you believe something wrong about yourself, those beliefs come out in actions, right? Like just like the hill. If you believe this is the way it's always going to be, there's no other option, you're going to act like that. But if you believe something different, like you are a beloved child of the King, like what can't you do? The answer is nothing. You can do anything. And so when I encounter this God that I love, I feel I receive his love for me, and it's like, wow, like the Father. I feel like, a beloved son. And then that gives me the courage to go and think big dreams. Like I'm going to be a player in renewing the city of Harrisburg. Yeah. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to see the city be renewed.
Yeah. Just breathing into light.
Because I believe who I am, and I believe that there's other people like that we're gonna do it together. So that's like, as far as like habits, that's not really a habit, but
it's something that completely, definitely helped encourage, get you where you are today. It's just like a whole new belief system. Not changing your beliefs, but no, that's like
it did.
Brought clarity to what you're doing.
It changed the way I think about who I am and what the world is about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you guys have beliefs. We don't have to get into this. This is like,
no, actually,
this is
it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. So like, do you guys journal at all?
I do.
I used to.
Okay. So my journal has been the most helpful thing to uncover some of this bullcrap that I believed, right? Like you do a thing and you're like, man, why did I do that thing? Or why didn't I do that thing? And journaling out and asking yourself, what is the thing I believe about myself that made me do or not do that thing? And a lot of times for me, it was like, you're not enough. You're a failure, disappointment. And those are things that I believed about my identity.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just manifesting those into your future actions then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You are what you believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so if you can change that script, so the way I did it was like, this is a process I learned. You write out what you believe about yourself. Like I believe that I'm a disappointment. And then I ask God, what do you say about me? And then I write down those things that I sense. And I do that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And every time I come up against something that's like, dude, you could literally do this every single day of your whole life. And you're going to continue to uncover stuff.
Yeah.
So do you do it every day? You journal every day?
Not every day, but
Okay.
Most days.
Yeah.
But
It's usually off the wake up or before bed?
so, I mean, kind of throughout the day, but
Okay.
but the time I get to sit down and like have focused journaling time is usually in the evening after the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I've got 3 kids and
Here you go,
really
just like,
you can
yeah.
focus on.
So they can recap
Yeah.
the entire day as well.
Exactly. But like throughout the day, like if there's something that comes up that just like rattles me, I'll take a minute and like go for a walk and just do that process without writing it down, but just like thinking like, man, that felt bad in my heart. What was that?
Yep.
What was that thing that happened? And what do I believe about myself that made me feel like that? Like that made me feel less than.
Yeah.
You ever feel like that? Like someone says something to you sideways and you're like, oh, I felt like less than, but you're not.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah.
truth. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's just being able to believe in yourself and what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the truth about you is you're created for incredible things. Like you have no limits on your life because you're made in the image of God. Like that's a ridiculous truth.
Yeah.
You know?
And so we all start out in the same situation. Like we're all just a little fetus on this planet.
Bro.
Right?
That's right.
So then eventually, I mean, obviously everyone goes in their own directions, and obviously you have your extremely wealthy and extremely successful people, and then you have your complete opposite end of the spectrum of people who have been homeless. And it's like, all right, so where did this person go right? Where did this person go wrong? And how can we take more of these people, bring them over this side?
Yeah.
The one thing separating the two groups is always mindset and positivity. If you just wake up every day with a positive mindset.
Well, up on the right side of the bed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So more to your point, what are those things that can help with positive mindset?
Yeah.
I think journaling is a big deal. Like being aware of your thoughts and your thought life.
Putting them down on paper.
Yeah. Because when you start to see those little patterns, I got so pissed off. I'm like, what the heck I wasted so much time thinking about that? Are you freaking joking me?
And then next time it happens, you can nip it because you know.
You got it. Yeah. You become aware of that enemy and you're like, not today, bro. Not today.
You're not being me.
You got it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think also solitude is a big deal. I don't know if you guys do any of this stuff, like putting down the phone. And
it's hard.
It's so hard.
Yep.
Yeah. But like having times where you're not consuming, but you're just sitting in silence and listening.
And processing.
Just thinking.
Yup.
Yeah.
That stuff can help keep you clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you're a reader too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I like.
He's all the things.
That's not true. That's not true. But I love to read because like, I can't remember who said it. Might have been Brandon Turner. Like, you get to buy 30 years of someone's experience for $25. What?
Yeah,
it's the best deal in the
world. Who's not going to take that deal?
Exactly. So, like, if you're not asking the questions, if you're not getting those shortcuts, you're wasting tons of time.
Favorite mindset book?
Ooh,
boom! You dropped the hammer.
Yeah. I'm gonna say The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Have you heard of it?
Yep.
John Mark.
I haven't read it, but
it's good. So it's all about slowing down and getting clear on, what's really important in life.
Yeah, it's being more conscious on like your every decision.
You got it.
It's on my long list of audibles to get to.
It's a good book. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in slowing down and being present. And
present in
really
the moment.
Hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, I feel like, especially as an entrepreneur, a lot of our brands are just constantly pondering and like thinking about what's next, and 30 different topics that are going on inside your head at once, and the details of each one. Where if you're able to somehow just like eliminate that,
sit down and have dinner with your family.
Yeah.
And focus on the present moment. Yeah.
It's hard. But because those ideas are good ideas sometimes, right? Like you don't want to, you're afraid you might miss it. But yeah, it's about prioritization. Like you said, family. Like for me, family will never be below or never be behind my business. Like I will not put my business in front of my family.
Yeah.
Family always comes first.
Family first.
But that's what we say, but do we practice it? Like,
faith, family, real estate.
Right. But like
it's our thing.
But like it's easy to say. But
it's hard to practice.
Are you sitting with your family or your girlfriend, your spouse or whatever? Are you on your phone? Like, are you talking with them? Are you listening to them?
Yeah.
And if not, like, why not? What are you believing about yourself? Again,
it's like, why are you with these people if you're not actually with them?
And do they feel loved by you if you're just,
if you're not present?
Instagram? Yeah.
And that's like, bro, that's
a hard pill to swallow.
It's a dopamine addiction.
But we're all like, it's so easy to get into that. So
yes. And it's crazy to see like the older generation acting kind of in the same way, because I mean, like, technology is still a fairly newer concept, especially like where everyone has access to a computer in their pocket, right?
Yeah.
And previously, I mean, growing up, it's like all the new iPad kids where they're having the same constant dopamine addiction, scrolling through, playing games, whatever they're doing constantly. And now I feel like I'm seeing more and more of like the older generations, like 50s, 60s, even 70s. Like
My grandparents.
my grandma just got TikTok, dude.
Are you kidding?
She's
That's
74.
hilarious.
I'm just like, oh no, like you don't need that.
No.
Put that down. You lived a great life without it. Do not pick it up.
It will ruin your life.
Brain rot right there.
Oh, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think that like, I mean, I don't think there's any way to stop it. I was going to see if you had any suggestions, but I don't think there is.
It's a good thing, right? Like it connects us. It's how we can have things like podcasts.
Of course. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's all bad.
No, it's not,
but
but we have to regulate ourselves. Unfortunately, that we're at this place, like we don't have the luxury of not, like back in the olden days, we think it was way harder. And I think in some ways it was, but in some ways it was easier too, right? Like we didn't have a million stimulus coming at us every single moment. So we have to adapt personally and figure out some regulation, because it literally is killing our minds if we let it.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen several countries already like ban certain platforms just because of how much control it takes and how much it has over everybody, right?
We almost lost TikTok.
I know, right? Was that like half a day almost? Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know that it's not getting any less. So we have to.
Maybe that's something they should teach in school, right?
Like, I think it probably could be a thing.
It definitely could be. Like, it's like, here's your pros, here's your cons,
What's your technology management plan?
Yeah. We should start with financial literacy in schools before we get there. Well, let's start with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
in a perfect world,
this is good.
Yeah.
I feel like if you definitely threw like a TikTok class into like a college,
true,
or like even high school, people are signing up.
They would eat that up. Yeah.
So they're probably gonna go thinking like,
class.
Okay, how can I utilize TikTok to make more money or like become famous or whatever? Yeah, and there's like how to put down TikTok.
It's like, oh, this isn't what I signed up for.
Right.
I think so. Actually, as I'm thinking about this, you can self-regulate, but if you don't have a big vision for your life, like I think a big vision can pull you into what's most important.
Yeah.
Like if you're just sort of drifting through life and kind of bored, I think that's where those time consumers can really kill you. But like if you can create this big mission in your life,
I feel like it's a lot easier for people to have an end goal, right? And they can visualize what that looks like and where their happy place is. I feel like the hardest part is figuring out like the tactical steps they need to do in order to reach that.
Speaking of,
what are we speaking of?
Our VTO.
Oh yeah,
that's what breaks it down into the tactical steps. I know you're a huge fan of it.
Big fan. EOS and all things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a hard part, man. Like, and believing that thing,
like believing that every
long term.
Yeah, every one of these steps is pushing you in the right direction. It's hard to actually see it. As though it's like,
I'm sure you as an entrepreneur feel the same thing.
Well, of course.
Like on the daily, on many different aspects.
Am I doing the right things? Yep.
Yeah.
I go in the right freaking way today.
Oh, so I'm gonna do it no matter what.
Yeah, I think you said it great. If you don't know the VTO, the Vision Traction Organizer, it's from the book called Traction. It's clutch. Like it's
so amazing.
It's not just for businesses. It's like I use it for everything in my life. Like
personal life. Do you have one?
Totally for our family.
That's cool.
Yeah, for my personal development. Like what am I gonna do and why?
Yeah.
And are those things on my calendar?
Yeah.
Because if they're not, it ain't gonna happen.
And other than the hill and that part of your life, what is a big plan that you have coming up, personal or professional?
Yeah, good question. Well, we want to buy an Airbnb for our personal, like a
second home, vacation home.
Yeah, like a cabin, cottagey thing. Just
Poconos.
Yeah, we're thinking.
We're
thinking Poconos. We're thinking maybe like up in Perry County. We love the Poconos.
Sure.
We love the Poconos.
Yeah. We just had on
Ben. Aspen Shape. Yeah.
Bro, that dude is my man. Yeah. I stayed at his cabin. This is me, guys. I love him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's like 4 or 5 times. He's just the freaking best.
Yeah, he is awesome.
It is a great guest to have.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Otherwise, Madison and I are also on this thing called Kren through our church. I think it's somewhat similar to this coalition that we're building. It's just reinventing what does real estate investment and entrepreneurship in general look like. So yeah, she and I are on a little team.
It's cool. Do you guys teach it to your other community?
We're figuring out what it is.
It's in
It's in the works.
Yeah, it's in the works. Ezra's on the board too, so we're.
Oh, is he?
Yes. Yeah, we're still
big plans, but we have to
bringing it into the VTO pretty soon is what we're doing. So that's exciting for us. Like,
there you go.
I'm stoked because it all contributes to that big vision of New Harrisburg.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are some big things.
Do you think that's like one of your top priorities?
Yeah. It's just congealed into this is the dream that I want.
It's cool that you had that calling.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like as random as
Mr. Carlisle drawn to Harrisburg.
Dude, whatever. It's the most random.
I mean, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. But I can't shake it.
You can tell it's just genuine, which is like I feel like the best part. Yeah.
Thanks. I really do care, but I don't want to care. But I wish I could.
You're in it now. You know.
Yeah. I just have a passion. I can really see it. You know.
So good.
Yeah. So you say currently you're at 5 properties for your investment portfolio?
Yeah, 5 doors.
5 doors?
Yeah, all in Carlisle. But my goal this year is to buy 4 units in Harrisburg to get invested in Harrisburg. And so it can happen.
In Mill Hills.
I got a portfolio for sale.
Do you really?
Yeah, all in Harrisburg.
Let's talk about it.
Sure. No, completely. We can do that.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I'm trying to think. Where else do we go?
I mean, other than the Airbnb and the 4 doors, any other bigger long-term goals for your portfolio?
Yeah.
Or is it more so just Harrisburg and renovating the Hill?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's where my main focus is right now.
Okay.
Is to buy more in Harrisburg and to inspire more people to do the same.
Yeah.
That's why the next 5 years I'd like to have 50 plus units in
the Hill?
That area. Not necessarily just in the Hill, but
Harrisburg.
In Harrisburg. Yeah.
And how many units did you say were vacant?
So there's 800
in there.
Units in the Hill only in 1 square mile.
Crazy.
Yeah, abandoned houses. So
wow.
Yeah, I'd like to start focusing on buying those things and bringing some new inventory to the market.
Sure. How do you go about marketing for those?
That's a great question. I think first is finding out, building a list for those houses, which actually I think I found a sweet way to do that without driving around for hours.
There you go.
And then just, putting together marketing plans. So cold calling, mailers.
And is that something you're going to do yourself or are you going to?
We're going to build a little team. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm not going to say anything.
I mean,
by myself.
Just ask.
I would.
For now.
Yeah. But you can help.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I'm down to help too.
Anytime, bro. Yeah.
I've been working Harrisburg 3 years now.
Let's go.
You know about.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, guys. I think things are on the horizon.
And for anyone who's listening who just hasn't started at all yet in real estate, what's kind of some advice that you would give them in getting started?
If you could talk to yourself 10 years ago.
Okay. Well, first you got to learn, you got to know the numbers, right? If you just have this dream, go and analyze some deals. If you don't know what you're talking about, you will always hesitate when pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Or you'll make a bad call and then you'll never buy another property again.
Yeah.
Build a team, just basically take action first and think second. So analyze deals, build your team, figure out where the money's going to come from, figure out where your location is, and then just start making offers. Don't
take action.
Don't freaking stop. If you want it, go and take it.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
I like
Good advice.
Yeah. It's rad.
Don't think too hard. Just get out there.
So can I tell a quick story about the second property I bought, which I'm pretty proud of this deal.
Yeah.
So it was, my dad found it. It's a 2-unit in Carlisle. And the guy was a friend of my dad's. I'm like, hey, look, I don't have any money, but I want to buy it. Can you sell or finance it? And he's like, I probably could work that out. And so we've worked out terms that this is ridiculous. Yeah. I put $0 down and paid 5% interest only for a year term. And the place was
that's impressive.
I only paid $92 for it.
Wow.
Did some sweat equity, got one of the guys out of the bottom out, renovated that unit, rented it for way more, and did the same thing upstairs. And then I cash out refied and
what did it appraise at?
Like 170.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's ridiculous. So
awesome.
I was and so that's what I want to tell like I would tell myself 10 years ago is money's not the problem. It's like creativity.
It's the knowledge
strategy
of getting started.
You got it.
Yeah.
Like
5% interest only.
I mean, I don't know how, like,
That's so cool.
I honestly,
How did you pitch that?
I literally just said those words. I practiced it a few times. I'm like, he's never going to go for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Cause if I don't, like, the answer is 100% no.
Yeah.
So I just said,
that's cool.
Would you do this? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it.
Win.
It's a win.
And that was deal number 2.
Yes.
After the house hack.
Yes.
That's so cool.
That's impressive.
Yes. And like, bro, like it was pretty gnarly. And I had a lot of regret. Like I had some fears like, dude, this is a mess, but
yeah,
you get the right people together,
you turn it around and it's like, it's a killer.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. Just go do it.
Go crush it.
And find people that can mentor you too.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like, yeah.
Surround yourself with the right people.
If I didn't have like Rob's and people like that in my corner, he'd definitely push me to keep going. So
very
cool.
Cool. And well, thank you for coming on today.
Appreciate
it was
it.
amazing talking to you.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
You have a lot of knowledge and positivity for the world. So thank you for sharing it. And yeah, I mean, as we mentioned previously, if any of you have any experience or know somebody who has experience in, gentrification, kind of converting, the slums into a nicer location, then please feel free to reach out to Adam. We'll leave his links.
Mr. Carlisle.
Yeah, Mr. Carlisle. Leave your social media links in the description. So, shoot him a DM or something like that.
Please.
Yeah.
And any final words before we close out?
Oh, man. I think this is great.
All right. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you very much, sir.
Appreciate
Those guys
it.
are awesome.
You're awesome.
And we will catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.